Danger is afoot. No one in Salem is safe tonight.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to It's Hubin time. I'm here with a very special guest today from the crew of Hubie Halloween. One of the set dressers, Josh Manning, is here. Josh, how are you? Thank you for being here.
I am good. Thanks for having me on, Bryan. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I was very excited to have you on to talk about the movie. First of all, good for you. You're so lucky. And
I felt lucky getting on there, I will say.
yeah, you should. I mean, I hope you feel blessed. But I, w- first of all, for anybody that doesn't know, talk a little about a bit about your job in general on production.
So set dressers are the guys that come in and after construction and scenic kind of build sets or, change the setup to what it needs to be. We come in with all the furniture, all the accoutrements, the little tchotchkes and stuff. We're the ones hanging all the paintings, laying carpet, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
And the best way I say is like anything the actors aren't really gonna touch is it usually just sit in our stuff, so that's what we have to deal with. The actors only sit on our stuff. um
right.
so
Well,
that's
yeah, a
yeah, all
lot
the
of other
furniture
people
is us.
sit on it when the crew's not around, and then
Oh, I catch people taking naps. That's I have an album of people taking naps in the sets all the time.
that's really good. I'm still, as long as I've been in locations, still not comfortable touching or sitting on any set dressing ever.
I It took me a while too, because usually I'm the one telling people not to do it, and then I do it.
Yeah. Well, you can do it, you put
I
it
do
there.
it. I say I do it so that the producers won't do it. Like, oh, they can't sit here.
Right.
Uh, yeah, actually, funny story because of Hubie
Here
Halloween.
we go.
So when we were doing Hubie's main street, his main where he lives and stuff.
Hmm.
So we're his houses and his neighbor's houses. Steve Buscemi's
Right.
character.
Right.
Um, Funny little thing about that is the exteriors of those houses are actually, so the Steve Buscemi's house exterior is actually the interior of that house is Hubie's interior house.
Oh, fun.
And then the house next to it, which is the outside of Hubie's house, the inside is Steve Buscemi's house. So it was a very confusing when we were set dressing
Yeah.
which one was Hubie. We had to be like outside Hubie,
Yeah.
outside, werewolf. But we had in the back porch of Hubie's house, you had like the that back deck you see
Right. At the
when
end.
the mother goes, yeah, at the
Yeah.
end there's that back deck. We had all this wicker furniture, and it was very delicate. We had
Hmm.
gotten it from someone in the neighborhood. someone someone in the neighborhood allowed us to use it. So of course we as set dressers were like, all right, we don't want anyone but the actors during shooting to be able to sit on this or anything. So we, put tape around it and all that. Every day I had to go fix it because a producer sat on it and broke it every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. And party is like, all right, I guess you are technically paying for this in some way, but
Yeah,
you're paying more for it now, and so don't say anything to me about it when you
but the
do.
amount of times I come around and be like, "Oh, there's someone sitting there," and just see that they just ripped the tape and
Yeah.
just threw
Yeah.
it to the side.
Yeah.
The don't sit
Oh,
here
it's so
decide.
nice. They were saving this chair for me.
Oh yeah. Oh good. They quarantined it off for me.
Yeah. 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 Was this so? Was this your first Adam Sandler movie that you
Yeah,
worked on?
yeah. It was my first Sandler flick I got to work on.
Yeah.
And it was fun because I got brought on to a crew that has done a lot of Sandler movies up here.
Awesome.
So a lot of the set dressers and stuff. I worked on That's My Boy, Grown Ups Too. Um,
Classics.
so they were kind of inundated on how all this goes. And it's Sandler movies are like big, they're massive
Right.
movies.
Right. And I do like I want to like set that up because I've never worked on an Adam Sandler movie, but there but for the grace of God,
Hmm.
frankly. But we all know, working in Massachusetts and Rhode Island now, like there's a reputation for working on an Adam Sandler movie set as a different experience than working on,
Oh, it
say,
is.
the
Oh, it
the normal
is.
the movies and TV shows that we watch. So talk a little bit about that.
So like movies have tiers and stuff, especially in the budget.
Right.
And when it comes to like Adam's Sandler's stuff, like he is so famous. Like he is so famous, and it was the first time understanding that in this industry was um it just was a yes budget. If that's what needed to change, that's what happened. If we need it, it just happened. Things just happened. It was the first time there wasn't any like, let's run it up the pole and figure out the budget stuff. It was just like, oh, is that what we need? That happened. And it was, during shooting times, there's fleets of ice cream trucks would show up to the set just to for morale for the crew,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
because we are also shooting long ass days. So Adam Sandler's like productions are very well known for taking care of the crews and
Right.
doing fun stuff for the crew during shooting and stuff. So it was a like kind of a brand new experience. Um, Not that you don't get it on other productions, it's just to a level it's another level that he does it. And he gets a kick off of it. He
Right.
enjoys
Right.
doing it.
Right. Which is good. I mean, like like you said, we see it a lot. Like working on the last show on Dead City, we got a lot of stuff like that. They're fun, like nice, and especially after a long night, working a lot of nights and on this movie, I'm sure it was very similar. Um, it's a nice thing to just have a relaxing trip to the ice cream truck or the burrito truck or anything like that. But
Yeah, go
yeah,
get a hot
there's
pretzel, or
yeah,
they
yeah,
have Baskin
yeah,
Robbins show up and
yeah,
give us all like cool samplers and
yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Unless then there's always the one time when it's like, oh, we're up against like the end of our contract and everyone's
Yeah.
standing around eating,
It's
cones.
like, we gotta get this done,
Yeah,
guys. Come on. It's like everyone's in line. Um, yeah, that can get frustrating at times, but
yeah.
like
But
also
I imagine on something like this where it's like, okay, we'll do another day. Like,
but I mean honestly, usually there's such enough people,
right,
because the budget is big enough to allow having more hands on deck.
right,
So people have, people on set can actually like dip off, because usually, a big movie like that, they get assists,
right.
so they can,
Amazing.
I've been on movies where it's just me in a position, so it's
Right.
like, yeah, I can't even go to the bathroom sometimes.
Yeah. You were on set on this?
It was the first soiree to being at like an onset dresser.
Yeah.
I was able to do about a week and a half as an onset.
Cool.
Under Steve Brennan was the onset dresser for this movie. And when I came on because I showed interest in it, not a lot of people actually like doing this position. So
It's true. Yeah.
um, I was like, oh, this seems like fun. So
That's
he was
yeah.
like, cool, come with me. And it was we the part of the movie that's the massive fun haunted house.
You're right. Right.
So we actually took that set from, I think it's Fright Kingdom in New Hampshire. So we went
Okay.
up to Fright Kingdom in New
Yeah.
Hampshire. I remember I was part of that because I wasn't the onset, I wasn't helping on set yet. So it was part of the set dress team. We went up there, walked it through, and picked out parts of the actual like built-in one, took it all out of there, and then reconstructed it into the big soundstage, that had also like Shaq's like radio station.
Sick. Yeah. WTCH.
Yeah, we had that set in there, which is really
That's
cool.
awesome. That's a great
Um,
set.
they had to make the set just slightly bigger. Everything was just slightly bigger for Shaq. Um, but we made the Fright Kingdom hallway. We made it one massive hallway in the stage, and that's why Steve was like, "I need help," because there was points, a lot of dead ends, so there was a lot of like hiding in areas. So we'd be shooting like three different things at once.
Oh wow.
So because we had Adam's basically just running through that whole scene,
Right.
screaming at stuff. So we did a whole day of Adam doing different sections and him just doing take after take after take after take of just on the sets. They always have massive playback monitors and such. And I just remember for those days was them replaying every scene every time we did it, and it would just immediately go up and it'd be massive, from the shot, and just
Yeah.
Adam just and then he'd be like, I don't know, let's do that again. Like,
Does he do a lot of takes?
yeah, he will. He
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
He runs that show. He keeps
Yeah.
it running. He keeps it fun. It's a good time. He keeps the energy up. He can tell when the crew is feeling, it's the 11th hour type deal. There was times it didn't happen really on the stage set with me, but there was I was hearing stories that when they were doing the late nights on the main street,
Mm-hmm.
it was getting to like 3 a.m. and they're just trying to get through it. You know, that
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
need that final motivation. And they said like Adam just came out dressed as Hubie, he's as Hubie, and he just held a boom box over his head like it was what was that movie like?
Say anything.
Yeah, say anything. And he was like dance party in the street and just got like the whole crew out there, like just to get, build that
Yeah.
motivation up. Like, let's bring it home, get the day done, get it in the can.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I think like, we're all professionals. This is work for us, but I think what a lot of people maybe aren't hip to is that you spend so much of the day not doing anything because it's all like things are like dominoes where one department has to handle their part before the next department can do their part, and a lot of times things you end up waiting for one thing to happen, and so you're most of the day, and then while they're filming like most of us are just kind of standing around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of days, especially as an on-set dresser, is staring at the monitor.
Right.
And especially when a scene is, this is like, between two actors, 5 pages, and I'm like, well, it's a close-up. They don't see anything in the background. I go sit at like at my cart with the monitor, and I'm just like, well, I'm here for the next 2 hours.
Well, yeah, because like you can't. That's the other part too, is that because it's very quiet as far as what you personally have to do until the moment they need you, and then you have to be like there. So while
and ready to fix whatever.
Exactly, and it can be boring. It can be a boring day, but it's never not tense because you have to be on top of your you have to be 0 to 60 at all times.
I was just working with uh Chris Onalero, who was the on-set dresser for Dead City that was just filming up here. So I was doing some time with him, working with him, and Chris has been doing a lot longer than me. And I finally got to be able to, work one-on-one with him and be like, get a little tutelage. And I was like, how do you deal with all this, man? And he goes, I was like, you're so calm, and he's like, oh no, this is just all anxiety fueling this. This is just, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing it right. I was like,
Yeah,
it's
right.
really,
Yeah.
I sit there in a pool of anxiety and wait for them to call me over the radio. And then I sprint up there and I'm like, what can I move,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what locations where we don't have to be in the thick of it all day, which is partially nice, but I'll sit in my car or sit in the van or something, and people like somebody will come up and like, oh, you're just sitting here. Like I'm literally just watching for something, like someone to approach set or something to go wrong before, and try and get to it before it gets to the actual set. It's
and
a very
anytime there's a scene that's like if I'm on set and it's a road scene and a driving scene, and that's the whole day, I'm usually hanging out with locations all day.
Right.
Because I'm useless that day.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah.
I'm usually there. I usually clean the window of the car. I'm like,
yeah.
can you see? I'm good. Then I usually hang out with locations.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone. Yeah, people come and find us because we're usually sitting in a circle, and
you guys usually have a good spot.
Yeah. That's the one. That's probably the biggest perk of locations, that we can park wherever we want, and we usually know where to hide.
On Hubie, that was a big privilege we got as set dressers, was we always call it princess parking.
Yep.
You guys were allowing us straight onto set because we had so many sets spread out across the North Shore.
Right.
Um,
Right. It must have
that
been yeah.
it was I people have asked me about it, but I said some of my favorite moments of Hubie during because we filmed during the summer was that I just remember bopping from set to set all day. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, I was up at, this is my home. So it was just fun going from the haunted house scene, set from here and then having to bop over to here and then like, oh, where's Crafty? Where's lunch at?
Yeah.
And it was always like a weird central location. We had like a massive,
Yeah. Yeah.
lunch place. You run through there, grab something crazy that they were making that day. Um, and then run to the next set. It was just a lot of fun. It was a movie set, and I think particularly because we were filming it during the summer. I don't know. It gave it a magical feel of working on it.
Right.
And
Well, we
we were
had, I
just
mean,
everywhere. We
yeah,
just like took over the North Shore. It was awesome.
right, right. We had that a little bit in Worcester for Dead City,
Mm,
where there was a bunch of things going on in a bunch of different spots. They're all pretty close to each other. So you're just like kind of wandering from set to set while different things are happening. And that felt kind of like being on a back lot in some ways.
yeah, we Hubie's main street that we decorated all the houses and stuff.
Yeah.
We as set dressers, because I live close by to Danvers where we were at, um, that I was on that street for about almost 2 months
Yeah.
decorating that entire
Yeah.
uh that whole neighborhood, and they kept expanding the street. We're like, hey, actually we're gonna go to the next street and then the next street, and they would just bring in truckloads of Halloween
Yeah.
decorations.
Yeah.
um a funny story is there is the house across the street from Hubie's house.
Hmm.
And Hubie's house is like the crazy decorated house with the big like Dracula and Frankenstein
Yeah.
out front. Across the street, there was what's in the movie are these inflatables, like Halloween inflatables up
Hmm.
there. I'm gonna tell you guys the war of that front lawn that happened in the art department. So we ended up one of the set dressers, I want to say his name, I believe it was Graves was his name, Graves. He did this really awesome um, set with like mermaid skeletons and pirates, and he made
Cool.
this like really cool. There's nothing in that front yard but like two trees,
Right.
and he made this really cool set with like like a skeleton mermaids and skeleton
Hmm.
pirates, like as if they're
Hmm.
pulling each other in. Um, and the amount of times they would walk up and like, yeah, actually, that looks really cool. We want it in front of Hubie's. Let's move it back. Let's move it in front of Hubie's, that whole set. And we would pick it up, move it over there. The next, within 12 hours, 6 hours or something, we'd be moving it back to that set, back to that front lawn. And then the next day would get moved back to the front of Hubie's because they liked it again so much. And then we'd have to make a whole new thing. And then it just kept going. It was, I want to say for half the time we were there, we were constantly that one front yard that gets
Yeah.
shown like one time, and
Right.
eventually it was just a suggestion of putting the inflatables there. And we're like, we don't do inflatables anywhere in the whole things, like except for like the really far side
Yeah.
streets. So it wasn't consistent with the neighborhood. So it
But
was
also,
this massive fight, and we were all getting super frustrated. And then the movie comes out, and it's just the inflatables.
yeah.
I threw my drink at my TV. Like, I was like, "Oh no!" It's
and
like they didn't even
and
use the cool one.
to the point too where like you're talking about it and like I keep thinking in my head like I think that house is out of focus the entire time. But they do
Yeah, it
show
is.
they
Yeah,
show
they
it for
show
like a
it.
second, I think. But yeah,
You
for the
see the
most part,
inflatables in
yeah.
there, and it was like,
You know it's there, but
oh
the
my
rest
God,
of
the
us
amount we kept taking it on and off and on and on. And people were
it's,
living in their houses during this time.
right, right, right,
They're
right.
just,
Yeah.
we got to know everyone in the neighborhood. Like
Yeah.
everyone knew us
Yeah.
personally. There was people that
You don't really like you get so involved in people's lives
you do.
for
You
like a
become
very
part of their
short time.
lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super funny.
Yeah.
And we were there for so long, and every set we'd be there for so long. Where they do the parade.
Oh yeah.
That's downtown Rockport. And where the police station and all that is
Right.
on that one strip. I remember
And
being
these
there again for another month. just
because these
the
are
exact time
huge.
spent.
So these are huge dresses on especially for the beginning, the first half of the movie. It's
Yeah,
all daytime exteriors
which was insane.
because we don't normally like normally they try and avoid that specifically because like budget is usually the biggest
It
one,
was so massive, though. I
but
mean,
it
they,
becomes just such a huge gigant. You have to dress every inch of it, and especially when you're out of season,
yeah, it was just
it's
every, you had to dress 360 everywhere, every
yeah.
storefront, everything had to be ready.
And I can only imagine. Well, the other my main question with that was because it was summer. Were you guys on leaves or was Greens on leaves?
Oh, there was Greens.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, Greens put in work. I never saw a team work so damn hard.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of teams had it rough. I think Greens had it
Yeah.
decently rough.
And for people, so for people to understand, like a Greens department, you know, it's easily explainable as like the landscaping department, but really what it is another kind of set dressing department where anything that is a plant or, you know, a grass or anything like that, they deal with. And so when you're shooting a fall scene and it's not fall and you need to bring in leaves, then they bring in every single leaf that needs to be
Yeah.
shown on screen.
All
And
those
they,
leaves you saw in the opening on the side and stuff
yeah.
blowing, those are all like silk leaves that they brought in and they drape and then they have to collect them all up. And I'm always like, oh.
It's
Um,
crazy. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the
Or
Greens
like when,
team, man, they were bringing it. They were taking trees out of the neighborhood and like keeping them alive off of like off site and bringing in new trees. There's that big hedge wall between Hubie's house and his neighbor.
mhm.
That wasn't there. The Greens team brought in live stuff. I remember the day they did it in a whole day. It was insane. Um, yeah, the Greens team was impressive.
Yeah.
They worked their butts off
They
on that
do
movie. I
do
mean,
so
every
much
department
work.
did,
Yeah.
but yeah, this one was in particular because it's summer. It was so hot.
Right.
It was a very hot summer. It's 2019
Right.
when we filmed that.
And then on top of that, if, you know, besides the stuff that's on camera, if like there's poison ivy somewhere, like they usually have to deal with it if they need,
Bugs,
you know,
all the
bug.
bugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I just on Dead City, we shot the exterior it was an abandoned golf course
mm,
and it's been an abandoned golf course for the last 10 years and we show up there to film and they're like there's kind of a lot of mosquitoes here, what can we do about that? I was like, this is a
oh,
forest. We're like, yeah, I guess we
we
could,
want.
you know, remove all the water from a, you know, four
Yeah,
square mile.
I saw the photos for that. It's like
It was
a lot of
that
still water over there, boys.
yeah. It was intense. It was very intense, but we got it done. Nobody got malaria, so
Yeah, that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, like those exterior like dresses can be intense and they take a lot of time and they're like the detail is exacting really in them. If you walk down the street there, you would think you were in like Halloween in
Which
Salem.
which brought another factor to this movie, especially as a production. A lot of times you don't know a production's happening. Very like it's very quiet, very secretive, and we just kind of go in, take
Right,
over an area, and do it. But this was Adam Sandler,
right.
so there's like fan people that follow the productions, and then like everyone finds out. Um, we just had people coming onto the set all the time doing Instagram posts and just like there was times my friends were starting to they started like a Facebook group and started anytime one of the towns would post photos that there was like, oh, there's
Yeah,
people, doing the Sandler movie. They would find the photos that I was in because I was getting because usually set dressers and stuff were the first ones on
right,
site.
right.
So they're just taking photos. I had so many photos taken of me that was being posted online. I had
Yeah,
friends from like high school being like, "What are you doing?" Like, and
yeah,
it
yeah.
was it was a different. Such a different level of production. Um,
And you're having to answer the question every day, like, no, Adam Sandler's not going to be here for 2 months. Like,
yeah, and like, oh, is Adam here? And
yeah.
there was times though where we're doing it that Adam would just show up because he
Oh
wants to
wow,
see the sets, and
wow.
he'd show up and like there was one time we were doing
I wish I knew that. I would have brought my
yeah
camera down to do an Instagram post.
we were doing in the final house, his love interest there, the lady he falls in love
Yes.
with in the
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah.
she from Modern Family.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Well, Veronica Valentine in the
Yeah, in the Veronica
movie, of
Valentine,
course.
in the movie.
Julie Bowen.
Julie Bowen, yes. So when we were doing that house, he came in a bunch. He actually showed up to set
Oh,
like
cool.
a bunch out of the blue. With him, it'd be like him, Rob Schneider showed up, was always rolling around with him, and who was it? Alan Covert, because
Oh,
he was one of the
cool.
producers on there.
Cool.
I was super excited to meet him. I've always been a
Yeah.
fan of his.
Yeah. I love Covert.
Grandma's
Yeah.
Boy is one of my favorite movies, so
It's
I
incredible.
I get
It's
to
yeah,
talk to him a little bit, and he was always on set. Very nice guy.
amazing. That was
Um,
he wasn't he doesn't pop up in it in Hubie.
n-
It's a bummer. Yeah.
well, he had his whole family there with him that for the production.
Yeah.
So he had like the wife and the kids were all there. So he was just being producer and
That's
being
awesome. Good
family
for
man
him.
the whole time.
Yeah.
He was really just running a lot of the show, keeping stuff going.
That's awesome.
I forget what's his the other guy. He always plays in all of Adam's movies. He always plays the dude with like the lazy eye.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was one of the producers as well. He was super funny.
Yeah, those
Super
guys
nice
his
guy.
guy I mean he's got his boys
Yeah, his
and
boys. You
they're
got the whole Sandler crew there.
yeah.
It was one of the days David Spade just showed up. It was like a different type of production like I hadn't experienced. It was
Well,
just
so
like
that brings me to another part of it because like you said, it is a different thing than a normal production, but there is like a specific way in which it's very different in that Adam Sandler loves to play basketball.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
did
yeah.
you have were there any experiences with that? Any
Yeah, you always have to have a basketball hoop on set. Uh because Adam likes to play basketball.
right, right.
And kind of a rule is like if you're nearby, he might throw you the ball. And if he does that, it's kind of just you shoot hoops with him until
Yeah,
you're done.
yeah.
And then that happened to me. And I kind of
Yes.
got pulled into a pickup game, and I'm okay.
Sure.
I'm not great at
Yeah.
basketball at all. Um, but it went on for a bit. It went on for a bit, and then I kind of came back to work, and my boss was like, "Where were you?" It's like I got thrown the basketball, and he just heard that. He was like, "All right."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
That's it. Yeah.
you just kind of jump in. He always has something going on. There's always something fun happening
Yeah.
on set.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
definitely
usually
you suggest like me working on like
you should
my jump shot or
you should definitely start working on your 3 pointers.
yeah.
Definitely pass game. Get your pass game.
So I'm naturally an assist guy anyway, so I think it could be,
Adam's a team
rebounds and
player.
assists. Good.
Adam's a team
Good.
player.
Good. Good.
He's always passing the ball around, to get people to play. Uh, he's just a very personable guy. Um, he's great with, like I said, like it was another level of, again, fandom.
Yeah.
See that fandom too, like a level of fame too on set, because everywhere we were, there's always people wanting to see Adam, get
Right.
photos with Adam, and
Right.
he just must have been, seeing someone who's dealt with that his entire life is it's pretty cool.
I always think
He's so
about it
chill with
in
people. He's just
that's
so chill
like
with everyone.
because there are those people, there's like obviously the extreme example, like, like Paul McCartney, everywhere he goes, he has to deal with people seeing Paul McCartney,
Yeah,
and like the emotional stakes of that. And he seems like a pretty like, put together guy as far as that goes. But he's not on the level of like laid back that Adam Sandler is. And I just wonder what his like his like personal armor must be like to just be able to be Adam
dude.
Sandler at all times.
I don't even think he has an armor, man. I it just a good example is just like I was telling you guys about the when he was just take after take of running
Yeah.
through the haunted house. One of the
Yeah.
one of those time frames in one of those hallways, there is a shot. It's a bunch of doors, right? In one of those doors, I'm actually inside one of those doors, because I was needing to be on set to reset
Right.
stuff. So right where he's starting his scene for that, he's like lining up with me. And I watched that guy just over and over and over again do this scene, right?
Yeah.
Running back and forth. And he'd get back to his start, his first mark, and he'd look over at me, and he'd always try to make me laugh before the fucking take happened. He would just look at me and be like, he'd do like fucking weird fucking voices at
Yeah.
me and like do his thing just to make me giggle. And he's like,
Wow.
we're gonna go, you know. And I was
Yeah.
like, just you know, it's he always was cool under pressure, you
Yeah.
know. It just seems like this is just another day for him. This is playtime. This is his
I mean,
life.
yeah.
He's
I mean,
just good at it, man. He's just good
right.
at it.
Right. Yeah. He's got the juice, you know? He
And
just like
he's
he's
just good
got it.
with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just so good with people. So nice to everyone.
And you
Says
get
hi to
like
everyone when he comes into set.
right. Yeah, and not that that's like most people are okay, you know, at least pretty cool for most days. Some everyone has, you know, bad days
Yeah.
here and there, but for a guy that's, you
I
know,
mean, we're at work. It happens. Trust me, I've
again,
seen some
we're at
people have some
work. Like
bad
I don't,
days.
you know,
I've had some bad days.
right, right.
Like,
I'm a diva at work. Are you kidding me?
oh, dude, there's
Yeah,
times.
yeah. I'm horrible to people, but you know, but no one knows who I am, so it's great. But you know, like there is just that. It's not necessary, but it is nice when somebody is that conscious of, you know, their crew. It is his crew.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
everyone's
He
there
takes care
for,
of everyone.
yeah. That rules. I love that. Any other crazy stuff happen that you saw or you know,
Yeah. So when we did the Salem like festival, the Halloween
mhm,
festival, that was done in the Salem Commons, and we had set up and we had a bunch of booths from all the local vendors in Salem. So we had
yeah,
a lot of those like local people, local businesses set
cool.
up the booths there, which was I thought was awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And so as the day's going on, we had security up and stuff. You know, it's getting darker and stuff for when we're gonna film. And it got to the point, um, we had spent most of our day there, so we were hitting our like 12 hours.
Mm,
So the shooting crew was coming in, Adam and all them were showing up, and really we're just paying attention to set the whole time and really focus on trying to get ready because the shooting crew's coming in. You know, it gets to a point where hey, we gotta go, we gotta get stuff ready.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, they're starting to make changes right before. What we all weren't noticing was how many people were surrounding the set. And I mean, if we had the most of the commons quarantined off, like
yeah.
kind of sectioned off, um, it was I don't know how many people could have been out there, but it was like 5 layers deep all the
Jeez.
way around the commons. And it was just to see Adam. And it was like I didn't even realize that was happening until
Right.
Adam showed up to set. And I just heard this like roar. And I was like, what is going on? And I finally like we were like, hey, we can get out of here. And we realized it took us a little bit because we couldn't get out of the set because there were so many people
Right.
surrounding
Right.
the
Oh my
area.
God. Yeah.
Yeah, it can get weird because like when we dipped out, people were following us back to our cars trying to ask us questions about stuff, and it was like, hey man, I'm just moving furniture. Like I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
making this. That
I
was
truly have
cool.
no idea what's going
Yeah,
on.
I don't
Yeah.
know Adam personally or anything, Like,
I play basketball with him, but you
I just
know,
worked for the guy. Um,
that's yeah, that is that, you know, again, for people that, you know, haven't experienced something like that, that can be extremely intense.
oh yeah.
Just because again, like anything that disrupts the day, it can make it really hard. And when you realize that that many people, you can't do anything about it. You're in
No, you can't.
public, you know.
You're trying to be nice to a lot of people.
Right.
We
Right.
all are from up here, so it's like these are our own, these are
Smart.
our
Yeah.
locals, these are
Yeah,
our
exactly.
peoples.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is hard because we were everywhere and people being like, what's going on? And a lot of the time, people, even if you tell them the truth, be like, sure, okay, you just don't want to tell me. So they think you're lying anyways. We made like a fun game uh, of telling people like, what's going on? And I'd be like, oh, it's a Mayo commercial. It's
Right.
usually like a standard
Classic.
one.
Yeah.
Um, I told them they were doing an Adam Sandler team up with the mayonnaise. There's going to be orange mayonnaise coming out. There was we had one of the police officers that was doing security detail for us up in Rockport.
Hmm.
When they someone asked like, why are we putting up all these Halloween decorations? He got in on the game and he was just like, oh, Salem beat us in basketball, so we have to put up Salem colors. So we had people thinking that there was some weird sports rivalry going on. We were filming some, holiday mayo commercial. We're trying to
Yeah.
tell people because when we did tell them about what the movie was,
Yeah,
they
they
were
just
like,
yeah.
okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the most outlandish lie you can figure out to tell them immediately gets printed in the newspaper the next day.
Oh
Like that'll be
yeah,
the one.
yeah. There was a lot of us, like the photos I said, they were getting posted in like the local papers.
Yeah.
Like they're like Hollywood comes to, it's like me and
Yeah.
like eating a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm
oh
from
God.
Worcester. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a
That
nobody. I'm moving stuff. Moving stuff. I'm putting up a lot of like decorations around.
uh,
Uh,
it's all part of the dream factory.
oh, absolutely. Well,
um
for a production like that though, because it's so massive, there's a lot of, we got a lot of actors up here and stuff like that. It puts a lot of people to work, man.
right.
The amount of
Right.
extras that were in that movie
Right.
was awesome. A
Right.
lot of people I knew. It was great seeing them on set.
And I'm really banking on that for the next one. Um
I think you
it's
got a shot, brother.
I feel like I could. I feel like let's put it this way. If I could just get in front, if I could get a tape in front of Adam, I feel like he would see the, the passion, if
Jump
not the
shot it
talent.
in.
Yeah, well, I think that's absolutely would be. I'd absolutely be playing basketball
You gotta
in
you
the
gotta be able to have a
audition
good game,
tape.
dude.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta be able to throw down.
I would what they would consider in the '80s a wide body. I think I can throw down some rebounds.
Like on throw some bows out. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You gotta be able to dominate on the court.
Play a little dirty, but that's what needs to happen. Um, and yeah, I mean there is that is a cool part of being able to make stuff around your home is that you see people that from different lives and show up, and the
Yeah, out of
local
nowhere.
actors, and like I do comedy, so the amount of times I hear about somebody I know from stand up getting an audition for a bit part in a show or something like that
Oh, yeah,
is
man.
extremely cool.
Yeah, I love seeing Spotlight getting on the Boston scene.
Yeah,
We got a lot of good talent up here.
yeah, yeah.
A lot of good crew, a lot of good actors.
It's yeah, and let's just hope it comes back strong.
I think it will. I think it
Yeah.
will.
I think we
I
got
think
a
it
good
will.
chance next year. 2025 is going to be our year.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, well, Josh, thank you so much for coming on and talking with me today. I think we're going to keep this going next year as well. I don't know if you've heard anything about Hubie Tubi, but
I'm hoping. I'm listening. I'd love to be on the next one too.
yeah,
So
we will
I
we'll
loved working on the first one. So of course, I'd love to work on the second one.
hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, we'll bring you back on next October for season 2 of the show.
Oh hell yeah!
Um but I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll see each other on set soon.
Oh, absolutely, bro. Thanks for having me on.
All right, everybody. I will see you on our next episode. Thanks for tuning into It's Hubin Time. Halloween is upon us, everybody. Goodbye. I love you.